past is just a story we tell ourselves.
Well, we used to look up in the sky and wonder at our place in the stars. Now we just look down and worry about our place in the dirt.
I'll paraphrase Thoreau here. Rather than love, than money, than faith, than fame, than fairness, give me truth.
Now you're looking for the secret, but you won't find it because, of course, you're not really looking. You don't really want to work it out. You want to be fooled.
Welcome to Truth and Shadow, your guide through the supernatural. I am your host, BT, and this is a Shadow Short. Let's navigate the unknown on this brief journey into the depths of mystery. If you vanished tonight, who would notice first? And how long would it take? Would someone call in an hour? A day? Or would you slip out of this world like a candle in the wind? That question doesn't leave you alone, does it? Not because you've thought about dying, but because in some secret corner of your soul, you've already wondered if you're invisible. We live in a world obsessed with connection, billions of glowing screens, notifications buzzing like a digital heartbeat, 1,000 faces smiling at you through glass. But if you've ever sat in that blue glow at 3:17 a.m. scrolling through the endless carnival of curated happiness, you know the truth. You've never felt lonelier. We can call this a crisis, call it a silent epidemic. I call it what it is. It's a plague of hollow souls whispering in the dark. Loneliness. Loneliness isn't just sadness, it's a famine. A slow erosion of something essential. And the worst part? We don't talk about it. Because in our age of curated identities, saying I'm lonely feels like confessing you're defective. So we hide. Behind memes. Behind sarcasm. Behind filters and likes and endless noise. But when the noise dies and when the phone is silent and the blue light fades, you feel it. It's like a knock at the door. It's a question breathing in the dark. Does anybody really know me? And if they did, would they stay? Today we're going to open that door. We're going to look what's behind it. Not just psychology, not just theology, but the raw, unvarnished reality of why we're drowning in this plague, what it's doing to us, and what it takes to claw our way back to real human connection. And something deeper still. First, let me tell you a story. There's a recurring dream I can't shake. It starts in a hallway. It's long, endless, lined with doors. Some are wide open, spilling golden light and warm laughter. Others welded shut, painted black, but humming like something's alive inside. I walk past dozens without stopping until I reach the one door I can't ignore. The handle is cold. My reflection stares back in the dark gloss of the wood. Behind it, I can hear breathing. Slow, steady, waiting. That door in the dream has a name. Loneliness. We like to imagine loneliness as an absence, a hollow space where people should be. But that's not what it feels like, is it? It's heavier than emptiness. It presses on the ribs, it vibrates in the chest. It's not a void, it's a presence. It's something you can almost hear whispering in your own voice, you don't belong. And here's the cruel twist. Loneliness doesn't wait for silence. It starts in the crowd. It starts when you laugh at a joke you didn't find funny. You did it just because you wanted to belong. It starts when you choke back tears because you've been told vulnerability is weakness. It starts the moment you hide the truth of who you are because you're terrified it will cost you love. Every time you do that, you build a wall, one compromise at a time. One "I'm fine" too many, until one day you wake up in a fortress of your own making. And the worst part, you hold the key. But you've forgotten what a door even looks like. And that's why I call loneliness the hollow room. It's a prison disguised as a safe house. So why do we keep building it? Why do we, in an age where you can FaceTime across the ocean, feel more starved for presence than any generation before us? To answer that, we need to pull loneliness out of the shadows. We need to dissect it. Not just as a feeling, but as a psychological wound, a spiritual hunger, and a cultural toxin. Here's what the science says. Chronic loneliness is as deadly as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Let that sink in. A lack of connection hits your body harder than obesity, harder than air pollution. Why? That's because your nervous system was built for tribe, for touch, for faces and voices, and eyes that see you. John Bowlby, the father of attachment theory, put it bluntly. Connection isn't optional, it's survival. From your birth, your entire being is wired to ask one question. Will someone come when I cry? If the answer is yes, your nervous system learns safety. You grow up believing the world is worth trusting. But if the answer is silence, or worse, pain, your body encodes a different truth. The world is dangerous. People can't be trusted. I'm on my own. So fast forward into adulthood. You keep relationships shallow because intimacy feels like stepping onto thin ice. You drown yourself in digital dopamine because stillness feels like death. And you wonder why your chest aches when the room goes quiet. Here's the kicker. Loneliness doesn't just hurt emotionally, it rewires your brain. Studies show using MRI scans that chronic isolation lights up the same pain centers as physical injury. Your body reads it as a threat. Cortisol floods your system, your immune system defenses begin to crash, your lifespan shrinks. And then comes the real horror. Your brain adapts. It starts scanning for rejection everywhere. A glance becomes a glare. A pause is a judgment. The longer you're lonely, the harder it gets to trust because your mind has turned connection into danger. And into that wound, we pour social media like gasoline on dry bones. Endlessly scrolling gives you the illusions of presence, but never the substance. It's the junk food of connection, engineered to hook you, never to nourish you. You can have 1,000 followers, 5,000 friends on Facebook, and you could still die of thirst because nobody knows your soul. And that brings us to a brutal truth. Loneliness isn't just a lack of people. It's the absence of resonance. It's the ache of speaking and hearing, nobody responding. So what do we do? Before we answer, we have to face why we run from this truth. Kierkegaard had said, the greatest despair is to not will to be oneself. And that's the marrow of this plague. Loneliness isn't just about others, it's about the self. It's about the self you abandoned to be loved. We don't admit loneliness because it feels like weakness, because our culture has enthroned the gospel of self-sufficiency. Needing someone feels like failure, so we hide behind the hustle, behind humor. We like and highlight reels. But there's a paradox. The more you hide, the lonelier you get. And the lonelier you get, the scarier it feels to risk being seen. Until that hollow room becomes a tomb. Loneliness isn't just psychological, it's theological. Every hunger for human presence is an echo of a deeper hunger for God, for communion, for being fully known. The desert monks warned about this centuries ago. They spoke of two states of mind, solitude and isolation. Well, one heals, the other kills. The difference? Turns out, solitude is chosen for love. Isolation is imposed by fear. And then there's the silence of God. The mystics called it the dark night of the soul. It's not punishment, it's an invitation. A stripping away of the illusion so we can encounter the presence of God on the other side of our absence. Which means this: your loneliness, up to you, can destroy you or transfigure you. What matters is what you do next. So, how do we step out of this hollow room? These are some practices. They're not hacks. They're not quick fixes. These are slow, but they're worth it. Number 1, face yourself. Before you start seeking others, sit with your own soul. Journal, pray, strip off the mask. Merton calls this the unmasking of the false self. Number 2, tell one person. Tell one person that you're lonely. It may feel like a death, but it's a doorway to life. Step 3, start building thick ties. Have some shared meals, shared likes, some commitments. Friendships that outlive convenience. People who will go places with you. Movies, dinners, wherever. Step 4, limit that digital noise. Now, this isn't a punishment. This is a detox. You've got to pull yourself away from that digital world. You've got to reclaim your life. Step 5, practice hospitality. Stop sitting around in your own home waiting to be invited somewhere. Open your door. Invite someone to lunch. Step 6, learn the art of listening. Most people don't really need advice. They need to be heard. Learn how to hear. Number 7 is embrace the solitude, not isolation. Silence will heal you when it's chosen, not when you've imposed it upon yourself. Step 8, join a community. Join a faith community, a small group, a book club, something that grounds you to the things that you like to do. Number 9 is rebuild ritual. Means ritual is a memory made visible, right? So if you brush your teeth in the morning and then before bed, do that ritual. If you always make your bed as soon as you get out of it, make your bed. If you notice that you've stopped doing these things, get back in it. Number 10, you got to turn that ache you feel into prayer. I know what it's like to be alone, but you got to learn how to reach out to God and say, I feel alone, Father. Please help me. Well, you've walked through a lot with me today. And if you're still here, if you stayed to the end, there's a reason. Because maybe this isn't just a theory for you, maybe this isn't just a podcast episode to fill the quiet, maybe this is the quiet. Maybe you're listening in the dark, with the blinds drawn, with the phone face down, because something in you knows. This message has your name on it. And if that's true, stay with me a little longer. Because the hardest part of this journey isn't naming isolation as the hollow room. It isn't understanding why it exists. It's what comes next. What happens when you stand in front of that black door? The one humming like it has a pulse, and you put your hand on the handle. That moment changes everything. Because once you open that door, there's no going back to pretending. So let's go there, together. Close your eyes. Picture that hallway again, the one from earlier. Doors lining both sides, some flung wide open, light and laughter coming out. Others are cracked just enough to tempt you, and then that big, heavy gloss back door. You hear breathing on the other side. Slow, steady, waiting. You're afraid, and of course you are. Because you know what's behind the door, don't you? It isn't a monster. It's not some demon with glowing eyes. No, it's you. The you you've left behind many years ago. The one you abandoned because being real felt too risky. The one who cried out and no one came. The one who decided silence was safer than rejection. That self is in there, sitting in the dark, knees to chest, waiting for you to come home. And here's the secret. That self has been calling to you this whole time, through the ache, through the scrolling at 3 a.m., through every fake laugh and every I'm fine. That voice you hear when the room goes quiet, that wasn't loneliness talking, that was you. And now here you are, so open the door. It doesn't fly open like in the movies, it groans like it hasn't moved in years. The air that spills out is heavy, it's not foul, it's just thick with everything you refuse to feel. Regret, longing, grief. It smells like rain on dry soil, the scent of a storm that should have broken long ago. And you see them. The forgotten self, eyes wide, rimmed red, not angry, not accusing, just waiting for you to kneel down and say the words you've avoided for decades. I see you. I'm sorry. I'm here now. This is what Jung meant when he said one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Because the darkness was never empty, it was you, waiting to be reclaimed. That's where loneliness begins to break. Not when someone else walks through the door, but when you do. When you stop abandoning yourself. When you stop living like a hologram. And when you become real. Even if being real means being raw. And once you do that, once you sit in that room and hold your own trembling hands, you'll notice something strange. The walls aren't as close as you thought. The shadows aren't as deep. There's light seeping in from somewhere. There it is. It's a window. It's small. Seems to be crusted over with dust. But the glass is glowing with the dawn. That window has always been there. You just couldn't see it until you came back to yourself. And through it you see movement, trees swaying, a sky bruised with sunlight. Faintly, almost too faint to hear, it's the sound of voices, real ones, laughing. The world you thought exiled you was waiting for you to come back, but it couldn't reach you through the walls you built. You had to open the door first, and now you can. Because here's the truth. No algorithms will tell you. Healing begins in rooms like this. It's the places you've avoided, in the tears you've swallowed for years, in the raw confession that tastes like death but blooms into life. I'm lonely and I don't want to be anymore. That sentence can feel like stepping into fire. But fire, more often than not, is cleansing. This one is not consuming. Because every real connection begins with a risk, with exposure, with the terrifying, beautiful act of being seen. And when you take that risk, when you speak that truth, you'll find something almost mystical. Loneliness loses its teeth the moment you stop hiding. The hollow room becomes a sanctuary, and that window becomes a door. Out there, life waits. Thick ties, shared bread, eyes that hold yours without flinching, laughter that shakes the walls. And not just human presence, but divine presence, humming through it all like a bass line you've forgotten. Because here's the deeper secret. The ache you feel isn't a curse, it's a compass. Loneliness isn't proof you're broken, it's proof you're human. Proof that your soul remembers Eden. Proof that you were made for communion so fierce that no screen, no scroll, no counterfeit intimacy will ever satisfy it. And if you follow that ache, not in a distraction, but into depth, it will lead you home. So tonight, when the house is quiet and the blue glow fades, I dare you, turn off the noise, put down the mask, walk to that door inside you, open it, sit with what you find, and when you're ready, when your voice stops shaking, pick up the phone, invite someone to coffee, knock on a door. Risk being known. And if you feel the ache again tomorrow, good. It means your compass is still working. Until next time, keep your lamp burning, and remember, you were never meant to be a room without windows. Thank you for listening. This is a free podcast based upon the value for value model. If you find value in this, or any episode, you can return that value by liking the show, subscribing to this channel, leaving a review, or sharing with a friend on your social media accounts. You can also donate on my website. Thank you again. This is BT for Truth and Shadow Podcast. You are the light in the darkness.